Alright, we're talking about Erbs palsy, hopefully fairly quickly. Before we start, let's have an overview at the different types of kind of hand palsies that you can have. This one gives the symptom of claw hand. It's called Clumsy's palsy. It's damage to C8T1, which is the major contribution to the median nerve. The median nerve supplies something called the lumbricals, which basically extend your IP joints, basically making your fingers nice and straight. When the median nerve is damaged, your lumbricals can no longer extend, leading to your fingers flexing, causing claw hand. Okay, Erbs palsy is what we're talking about today. It leads to this thing called waiter's tip, basically like a waiter asking for a tip. It occurs when C5, C6 are damaged. For example, when falling off a horse, or when like your neck is bent too much in childbirth, like for example the shoulder gets stuck. The final thing, the final common thing is called post-blessing. So this is, unlike the other two, this is an active sign, so this only occurs when you're trying to make a fist. What happens is the median nerve again is damaged, but this time more distally. And so the median nerve supplies the flexor radialis, basically, which allows you to kind of curl your fingers inwards. And also you have the flexor ulnaris, which does the same thing for your fourth and fifth fingers. So when trying to make a fist, your flexor radialis will not be working, radialis because it's on the radial side, so therefore fingers 1, 2 and 3 will not be able to curl down, but the ulnaris is supplied by the ulnar nerve, so this is able to curl your fingers 4 and 5 down. So basically actively when you try and make a fist, you're left with your first 3 fingers sticking up, and this is called post-blessing. So we're talking about Erbs palsy today. Okay, in a nutshell, if you want to just learn the bare bones, this is all you need to know here, basically the symptoms. So we've got pronation of the hand, which is due to the muscular cutaneous nerve being KO'd. We also get a loss of sensation in the forearm here. We get elbow extension, again due to the muscular cutaneous nerve because of the biceps. Biceps is normally a flexor. The arm is adducted because the axillary nerve supplies the deltoid, and this is an abductor, so with that KO'd we get adduction. And also we get loss of sensation of the regimental patch over here, and we also kind of get wrist drop. If you just want to quit the video now and just learn those, that's fine, but we're going to go into a bit more detail to help you remember them. This is your thingy bob, brachial plexus. The way I learned it was I just wrote it out like 5 times, and then, yeah, so it's kind of important to memorize this. What we're talking about, remember, is C5, C6 being damaged, so it's all kind of this bit, and remember the C5, C6 isn't just this top bit here, because it has, it contributes to the posterior cord, which then feeds into the radial nerve as well, and the axillary nerve. Okay. So the first kind of thing we're going to talk about, we'll start off at the end here, is the muscular cutaneous nerve. So when C5, C6 are damaged, all these nerves are going to be damaged. Lateral pectoral nerve we don't really talk about because it's not that important, but here, muscular cutaneous nerve is the first one we'll start off with. So let's see, muscular cutaneous nerve, this is what it does. It has a motor and sensory component, so basically it comes off here, off the lateral cord, and it basically supplies the coracobrachialis and the biceps, and also the brachialis down here. And then, so these are all motor. And then also it kind of has, it goes into the forearm and has a sensory branch, which is called your lateral antebrachial or lateral cutaneous nerve of the forearm. Okay, so it supplies the biceps, coracobrachialis and brachialis, but the main one for Erbs palsy is the biceps, and also sensation in the forearm, remember. So the first action of the biceps is to do something called supination. Now supination has the word soup in it, right? So it's like holding a bowl of soup, so your hand is facing upwards. So this is the normal action of the biceps. And as you can see, as this muscle contracts, the hand supinates normally. This is a healthy person. So in a person with Erbs palsy, the KO of the muscular cutaneous nerve will cause the hand to be pronated, meaning facing downwards. Okay, the next action of the biceps is the one that's more famous, is like flexing your elbow. Let's get this to play. Yeah. Cool. Ready. Here we go. So the biceps is flexes the elbow, as you can see, as it contracts, it flexes the elbow. Therefore, when it's KO'd, it's going to lead to your elbow being extended. Now, also, we're going to put all of these things together at the end, so it's going to make sense in a big picture form. Alright, so we've talked about C5, C6 being damaged, the muscular cutaneous nerve is damaged as well. The next thing that is damaged is also the radial nerve. So remember, C5, C6 contributes via the posterior cord, and then it supplies the radial nerve as well, but not obviously the radial nerve gets innervation from C8, T1 as well, and also from C7. So it's not going to be like fully KO'd, but there's going to be some damage. When the radial nerve is damaged, it leads to something called wrist drop. So you're going to get a bit of wrist drop. It's not going to be like very bad, but you will get wrist drop. So that's basically your fingers pointing down. Okay, so far we've got the elbow extended, we've got the hand pronated, and we've got wrist drop a little bit. Okay, the next thing is our suprascapular and our axillary nerve here. So if you trace this down, it goes to the axillary as well as the radial nerve. The dorsal-scapular nerve is not that important, and the lateral pectoral nerve is not that important. They probably will be affected as well, but you don't really need to know what they do for this. I know what they do, obviously, in terms of the big picture, but for Erbs palsy, they're not that important. Okay, so this is what we said about the muscular cutaneous nerve. So we said there's 2 more nerves that get damaged: the suprascapular nerve, which supplies the supraspinatus and the infraspinatus, and the axillary nerve, which supplies the deltoid and the teres minor. The axillary nerve also has the sensation kind of aspect, which provides sensation over the regimental patch, which is kind of your top bit of your shoulder. You can divide these nerves, because there's 4 muscles, right? You can divide these 2 of these muscles into abductors and 2 into lateral rotators. So these are the normal functions. So the first muscle we're going to look at is your supraspinatus, innervated by your suprascapular nerve, and this is going to start off abduction. I might take the point off so you can see. Cool. And you're just looking at a posterior view. So your supraspinatus is this one here. It's called spinatus because it sits above the spine of the scapula. All right. The next abductor, abductor, is our deltoid, which is basically the main abductor. And this is a sagittal view, and it takes over after 15 degrees and does like the main kind of abduction. Okay. It also kind of has some help with the teres minor, but your main abductor is your deltoid. I said your other function of your infraspinatus and your teres minor then is going to be lateral rotation. So if we look at our infraspinatus, now this is kind of harder to see because it's a very small movement. But as you can see, so we're looking posteriorly, the arm kind of turns outwards. Let's have a look again. You can see, so the arm is being laterally rotated away from the midline. So this bit is coming away from the midline. That's the infraspinatus. And the teres minor, we're looking anteriorly now, so don't get confused, that is a different direction. So, 1 second. As you can see, this is going to also laterally rotate. So it's moving outwards, away from the midline. This is our midline, it's taking us outwards. Alright, so the suprascapular nerve and the axillary nerve are both going to be KO'd, which is going to lead to loss of abduction. So, meaning your arm will be adducted, basically glued to your body. And loss of lateral rotation, meaning your arm is medially rotated in Erbs palsy. You're also going to lose sensation over your regimental patch. Okay, let's bring it all together. So, start off, this is the Erbs palsy party trick. So you too can experience Erbs palsy basically. So start off basically to kind of bring this all together. Start off with both your hands in front of you as if you're catching the ball. So both your hands pointing upwards, and this should kind of be reasonably like spaced apart. Okay, now pronate your hand. Remember this is due to the muscular cutaneous nerve which normally supinates, but that's KO'd. So now just face one hand downwards. And then add in the wrist drop. So the wrist drop is, remember, from the radial nerve. So point your fingers downwards, kind of like that. Then adduct your hand, so bring it really close to your sides. Why is that happening? Because that's the axillary nerve being KO'd, which supplies your deltoid, and also your suprascapular, which supplies your supraspinatus. So that's adduction. And also remember your teres minor also helps in abduction. But yeah, the main abductors are your deltoid and your supraspinatus. So with these not working, your hand is adducted. So glue your hand really close to your sides. And then finally twist your arm inwards, basically immediately rotate your arm. And then you're basically going to end up with something like this, your hands hopefully sticking up by the side of your body in this weighted position. So what you need to remember is pronation because of the muscular cutaneous nerve, loss of sensation in the forearm because again of the muscular cutaneous, elbow extension, again because of loss of the biceps muscle basically, and pronation, arm adduction because loss of the deltoid and teres minor and supraspinatus, and also medial rotation because of your teres minor and your suprascapular nerve, and partial wrist drop as well.